We are getting our first look at the Department of Justice's findings of its nearly year-and-a-half-long investigation into the horrific mass shooting in Uvalde, Texas, back in 2022. According to the report, poor coordination, training, and execution of active shooter protocol contributed to a law enforcement response that it describes as a, quote, failure.
It goes on to say, quote, the most significant failure was that responding officers should have immediately recognized the incident as an active shooter situation, using the resources and equipment that were sufficient to push forward immediately and continuously toward the threat until entry was made into classrooms 111 and 112. And the threat was eliminated.
For more, we are joined by NBC News correspondent Morgan Chesky, who is in Uvalde. So, Morgan, what else can you tell us about this report?
Yeah, Josephina, this is more than 600 pages, essentially going through not just minute by minute of the shooting itself, but circumstances that led up to the shooting that could have impacted that response, and then mistakes also made in the aftermath of the shooting, whether it be treatment for the victims or for those here in the surrounding community. You already mentioned some of the most glaring mistakes that were mentioned by the Justice Department in this report. What it's explaining to the folks here in Uvalde, Joe and Savannah, is it's not so much this is brand new information. Unfortunately, this just further confirms their deepest fears all along, and that is, from start to finish, there was a breakdown in communication that led to an absolute failure in the response to this school shooting at Robb Elementary School. We do know that there were specific examples given, such as prior training for active shooters that mistakenly suggested that it could quickly devolve into a hostage situation, which is not the case. And they believe that that may have led authorities to react the way in which they did on May 24th, 2022. They also talked about poor communication with multiple rooms in Robb Elementary School being checked not once but twice because they were not clearly labeled if they were cleared or evacuated or not, wasting time. And they talked about people who evacuated out of Robb Elementary School being sheltered at a nearby funeral home, and not everyone was adequately medically screened. They mentioned a young child there who was bleeding for hours before receiving proper treatment. But Josephina, perhaps one of the most heartbreaking examples that this report puts forth is that there was a horrible mistake made in how the loss of life was shared with immediate family, sharing that some parents were told their child had survived when in fact they had not.
Morgan, just heartbreaking to hear some of these details. We know a lot of this had already been picked over, as you referenced. We've heard a lot about this, but now that we have this, where do we go from here? I mean, we know already several of the officers involved already lost their jobs, including some named in this report. Are we expecting to see any more consequences?
Well, there's certainly members of the community that would like to see additional accountability. We do know that Attorney General Merrick Garland will be having a press conference here at 11 o'clock local time in Uvalde. That will be followed by a press conference with representatives from victim families, where we anticipate hearing what they would like to do going forward. We do know a number of them have become very much fierce advocates for both improving school safety and changing gun policy. But it will be very interesting to see, in light of this recent report, if there's anything specific that they're looking to. I can tell you, having spoken to a family member of a victim last night, that they are still holding out for charges to be held against some of these officers that they watched on body cam wait minute by precious minute before moving in and fatally engaging that gunman.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app, or follow us on social media.